For the last 2 years, Minecraft has been following a new update system called drops. Get it? The first drop was technically a drop in 2023 called Bats and Pots. You'll never guess what they updated in that one. But the current cycle started with Bundles of Bravery in October 2024, with a new drop coming out each season since. This is in comparison to their old update system, which we'll just be calling updates. It's not confusing, just figure it out. The update schedule before was to just have an update once a year, with some exceptions which we'll get to later. However, I've seen many call for a return to the once a year update system, as people are dissatisfied with drops, which I think I've boiled down to 3 main points of contention. So for this video I want to compare drops and updates, but how am I going to do this? Well, I'm going to be taking selection of 4 updates which are considered to be the best streak of updates that Mojang had. This includes everything from the update aquatic to caves and cliffs, with 2 caveats. The first being 1.17 and 1.18 will be counted as a single update, since both are listed as caves and cliffs and came out within the same year. Secondly, Buzzy Bee's update was more on the scale of a drop, only working on one tiny aspect of the game. I bet it was the bats. 4 updates will have been compared to 2 years of drops that have come out since, that being everything from the Garden Awakens drop to the drop 3 of 2026. I know this drop isn't even finished yet, but it prevents me from having to include something like Bundles of Bravery, which had like one feature and isn't really comparable to recent drops. If you disagree with me, you can bully me in the comments. I read all of them. So now that we have that baseline down, let's get back to those 3 points of contention, with the first one being quantity. Here, quantity refers to 2 things: the frequency of the features added, and the amount of features added. Major updates would only come out once a year, but this was compensated for by the fact that the updates would have a year's worth of content inside of them. But how much is that? To count this, I went through each update's wiki page. The Minecraft wiki, not the fandom wiki. Boo, fandom. Then, on each page, I counted the amount of features with this bold blue hyperlink in the addition section. This isn't the best way of counting features, but it's a simple way that contains all features without ignoring things like structures, but not having to count things like subvariants of blocks, cough cough copper, cough cough. Also, I only counted Java Edition features for consistency's sake. We see you Bedrock players, and we appreciate you. Just not right now. So without further ado, here are the totals. Update Aquatic had 70, Village and Pillage had 58, the Nether update had 71, and Caves and Cliffs had 67. Averaging this out, we get an average of 66 features per update. A single drop has significantly less features than a single update, but allegedly, this is made up for by their higher frequency. A drop comes out once every 3 months, so there can be a drop every season. After counting the features in each drop the same way, here are the results. The Garden Awakens has 23 features, Spring to Life had 20, Chase the Skies had 10, and the Copper Age had 15, leading to a total of 68 features in the first year, which is on par with the previously mentioned updates. For the second year of drops, Mounts of Mayhem had 10, Tiny Takeover had 6, Chaos Cubed had 18, and then for the third drop of 2026, it currently has 17. But since it seems to be on a similar scale to Garden Awakens, I gave it an estimate of 23. So this is editing rub here. The final snapshot for this update did actually come out and it ended up being 21, so my estimate wasn't too far off. So for year 2, we have a total of around 57. Averaging out both years, then we have an average of 62, which isn't far off from the typical 66 of the previous updates. This also doesn't include the other half, the changelogs, which are the changes that each update has. Drops seem to have a stronger focus on changes, with things like the lead changes or several crafting changes, or even horses swimming in water. So it does seem that 1 year of drops is pretty comparable to a single year of updates, so the issue can't be quantity. So what about the second point of contention then? The quality. Man, if only there was some phrase relating to quantity and quality. Anyways, as mentioned previously, updates had a year to be developed. If you already forgot this, you are too far gone. All I can hope is that you continue to enjoy the flashing colors on your screen. Because of the longer development times, the changes could be more broad and sweeping. The Aquatic update changed literally every body of water. The Nether update changed the entire vibe of the Nether. And Caves and Cliffs added new caves. And due to the increased scope, they could add a little something for everyone. Most updates would have some new redstone component, a new block set for builders, and something new for survival players to explore. And while people could be disappointed with what was added, they couldn't really say there was nothing for them. Like the Nether update, for example. Yeah, I'm in the Nether now, so what? This had a whole new set of buy-ins and a new structure for survival players to play with, a new tier of gear for PvPers, heaps of new blocks for builders, the target block for redstoners. There was truly something for everyone. This wasn't perfect, however. The longer wait time had downsides. If you weren't fond of what was being added, you had to wait a whole year to get something new. And even if you did like the features, you had a whole year's worth of snapshots beforehand, which made it feel less eventful when it eventually did come out, since it felt like it was already in the game for months. As well, it did somewhat limit what Mojang could do. They would either lock in a theme very early on, which would limit what could be added.
The next update is called the Wild Update.
Or they would keep it open and the update would feel like it had no focus. On the other hand, we have drops. Many see them as having a lower quality than updates. Drops spend a lot less time in snapshots, which means they still feel fresh when they get added to the full release, but that also leads to there being less time to build up hype for that eventual release. Even if they had more time to be hyped up, the smaller scope makes it harder to be hyped in the first place. The best drops feel less hyped than middling updates did, while the worst drops have the opposite effect, where people just want it to be over so the next one can come out. Like, yeah, you added new babies, cool, what's next? Wait, how did you survive? What are you made of? Oh. Part of this is due to the themes being smaller in scale, even changes that can have a big impact are localized. Something like Spring to Life changed a lot of the world gen, but it only would be great for someone who wanted new decorative plants. But most won't care, which would have been fine before, but since this was basically a whole update, it means most people will feel disappointed. And I think this is where drops falter the most. A whole update can go by without having anything to really bite your teeth into, despite them still getting treated like the next big thing. They get trailers and social media marketing pushes like the updates would, despite being a quarter of the size. So for most, a drop can feel lower quality because it feels like it should be bigger, but in reality, they can't do much with it. And that is where the third and final point of contention is, the impact. Drops have a smaller impact on the game. A drop can come and go without you even realizing, since you can easily miss out on most of the content in them. I used to really care about Minecraft update release dates. I would speculate on when they would be, and on the day I would keep refreshing so I could get the update as soon as it came out. With there being so much to do in a single update, it made it feel like something to be there for, like it was an event. Part of this is how the game would feel completely different after the update. Sometimes it felt like an entirely new game, and I think drops lacked this impact. The best drop in terms of impact, in my opinion, has to be Mounts of Mayhem, which added more danger to your world with mobs wielding the new spear, the zombie horse, the parch, the new zombie nautilus, and the... Still not talking about that. It is so easy to get ambushed by a zombie horse, or to take more damage from a spear than you thought you could.
Oh my days!
This drop constantly reminds you that exists, and I think all drops should aim to achieve that. So what would I do if I were in charge? Well, in between 1.20 and 1.21 there were two drops, the aforementioned Bats and Pots drop, still trying to guess what they added here, and the Armored Paws drop. These smaller drops served as filler between the updates. They were small and harmless additions to the game, but they kept people engaged with the smaller features. And I think this is the golden formula. A big update to build up hype and to get people to play during the summer months, but have a smaller drop throughout the year to keep people engaged while the next update is being made. This would likely require a smaller drops-focused team, who would only develop drops, as to not take experienced developers away from the major updates. But I think there's a reason Mojang still want to do drops as their main focus, but this is just speculation. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out for the Switch in 2017, and was meant to serve as filler during the wait for the next Mario Kart game. However, they couldn't get the new game to run on the original Switch, and to be fair, most things can't really run on that anyways, so they postponed the game until the Switch 2 came out. However, to keep Mario Kart fans engaged, they released the Booster Course Pass DLC. A DLC which was clearly lower quality than the original base game, but it gave Nintendo a few extra years to work on the next game, Mario Kart World. So why do I bring this up? First, I just really like Mario Kart. And secondly, I think Mojang are doing something similar to this. If you look at the snapshot changelogs, the technical change sections are usually quite big. These are changes that have to do with the game engine that runs Minecraft. My guess is that drops allow the development team to add easier features, so that they can spend more time making the back-end code better, so that they can make better updates later down the line. Imagine building a tower, if you will. If your foundations are wonky, it'll be harder to build the next floor. You can either keep adding these new floors, having to spend more time ensuring that each floor doesn't cave in due to the poor foundation, or you can spend time fixing the foundation. Minecraft's had over a decade of just building new floors on a wonky foundation, and I would not be surprised if that had caught up to them by now. And honestly, if they are doing this, I wish they would just tell us. A simple drops are smaller to let us improve the backend for future updates will be fine. They don't need to leak their future plans or anything. Just having a small confirmation if a big update is still coming would be nice, since the new version numbers make me think they might not. Thanks for watching this video, which is only my second ever video. And thanks for the support and feedback on my last video. It did way better than I thought it would, and thanks for the over 1,000 people who subscribed from just one video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the ride. If there's enough support for the idea, I might make a Discord server for this community, so if you'd be interested, let me know in the comments below. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Wait, I think I figured out what they changed the button.